Okay, welcome everyone. This is Premier Chess, Adult Intermediate. This is the Winter 2021 class, and this is week 1. And so we're going to look at a few Immortal games today. So first, let's look at the puzzle from Lead Chess. And oh yeah, and also the reason I like doing these puzzles is because this is the first time that I'm seeing the puzzles too. So not just you guys, completely new for me as well. All right. So here, so this is taken from a game. I will go back all the way so we can see how this arose. All right, so let's see. So we have E4, D6. Okay, so this D6 move usually is followed up by maybe G6, Bishop G7, Knight F6, and then Castle. So this would be like a King's Indian setup, or I think a Pierce also, right? This D4, Knight F6, something like that. Knight C3. That's also the Pierce defense. All right, so a couple of different ways. Okay, so F4. So White tries to control the center with the F pawn. A little bit risky opening up the E1 to H4 diagonal, but here the pawn is still on E7, so the queen can easily come to H4. So it's not such a big deal. So Knight F6, Knight C3, C5. Okay, so now this is kind of resembling kind of like a Sicilian type opening, especially if Knight F3 followed by D4 and then some exchanges here. That would be like the exchange variation, the open variation of the Sicilian. And I believe with the pawns on E4 and F4, I believe that's called the Grand Prix attack. Anybody aware of that or familiar with that?
Yeah, that's the Grand Prix right there.
Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not that well versed in so many openings. Like some of the people that have been in my class before, I know some openings pretty good, but I personally like I personally think the opening theory is way over studied, which is why I like Chess 960 the best, or Fisher Random as it's also known as, because that completely throws out opening theory. But opening theory is also important to know because so many people play standard chess. So yeah, we'll do that. All right. So C5, Knight F3, Knight C6. Okay, so good. Everybody's developing towards the center, so very good opening principles here. A3, A3. Okay, that's kind of a weird move. Anybody can figure that out? That doesn't kind of make sense in this position. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense here. I'm not really sure.
I expected D4.
Yeah, me too. D4 seems to be the most logical here. Opening up the bishop, maybe bringing the knight to an active location here. Yeah, so A3 is kind of out of context. All right, so let's continue. G6. So this kind of looks like the dragon formation, right? I think this is the dragon setup for the Sicilian. So something like that. All right, so bishop C4, bishop G7, castle, castle, D4. Okay, so now we have exchanged on D4. Okay, queen B6. So now we can see the slight weakness that has been created with F4. So now the this diagonal is a little bit weak, the A7 to G1 diagonal. So yeah, this is getting a little bit shaky for White. Maybe even maybe because of that, probably maybe a little bit more precise would have been something like D6, and then followed by bishop E3, and then maybe push it later because this diagonal is so weak. Or perhaps before doing D4, maybe you do a prophylactic King H1, right? And now after D4 and then the captures, then Queen B6 is not so powerful, right? Because the knight's not pinned. All right, so let's continue. Takes, Queen B6, Knight E2. So that drops a pawn on E4. Okay, so he takes bishop E3. Yeah, by the way, with taking of the pawn, that also exposed another attacker on the knight, so the knight is triple attacked. All right, so bishop.
Could you?
Yeah.
Could you go C3 instead of bishop E3?
Let's see. Yeah, you could. No, you couldn't actually. Why? Why is C3? Why would C3 not be such a good move? Anybody can tell me?
Oh, and I see. Is it because of E5?
Yeah, the knight's pinned, right? So the knight can't move. So so there's a very important mnemonic that I give to my students, and my youth students especially appreciate it. Anybody who's in my class can tell me what's the mnemonic in this position that I would say? Samuel knows.
Yeah, I do.
What do I say?
PP on the PP.
Very important concept. PP on the PP. What does that stand for? Put pressure on the pin piece, right? The knight on D4 is pinned. And by the way, there's two types of pins, just to make you guys aware: relative pin and absolute pin, right? Anybody know the difference between relative pin and absolute pin?
I would guess an absolute pin is against the king.
Right. Yeah. So there's no way that this knight can move. It'd be against the rules for this knight to move, because you can never put yourself in check, right? So that means this knight is completely immobile. That means what you do with pin pieces, you increase pressure, right? So we already have the knight on C6. We have the queen on B6. We have the bishop on G7. Increase more pressure, right? E5, and this knight is going down, right? There's no way that white can save that knight. So yeah, very important concept there. Okay, so bishop B3 breaks that pin. So it's no longer pinned. Oh, and by the way, the relative pin is a pin on any other piece, could be a queen or rook. So most of the times it's undesirable to move that pin piece, but for some unique instances, it could be a good idea to maybe sacrifice that piece behind it. All right, so let's continue. So E5, knight F5. Okay, so saving the knight, protecting the bishop, attacking the queen. Okay, knight F5, queen takes. All right, and then knight takes, king takes. Okay, interesting position here. Okay, so this is white to move. It's what's the best move here for white? So this is the puzzle. What do you guys think? Any ideas?
Well, I have a pretty long-term one. If
Mhm.
the pawn at F4
Mm-hmm.
took the black pawn, then and then if the bishop sacrificed at H6, then if you wanted, the bishop could take at F7.
Okay, so bishop sacrifice, bishop H6, king takes H6, and where's the follow-up? Oh, then you were saying bishop takes F7 after that?
No, I don't like it. It's all I can see.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much compensation for that. Okay, Samuel, what do you think?
I was thinking at first bishop C1.
All right,
Bishop
hold on.
C1.
So let's see. All right, so yeah, one thing.
Oh,
one
that
thing-
loses the rook.
I know. I just realized because I was thinking F takes C5, and then something takes, and then you can go bishop H6. hopefully.
discovery, right?
Yeah, I was
Um,
looking at. I was hoping the answer would be something related to that.
Yeah, so what immediately strikes out at me, so everyone is familiar with the term poison pawn, right? What does that mean, poison pawn?
You don't want to take it.
Right, so something that appears to be free, right? Sometimes, a lot of times, the pawn, sometimes it's even a piece, and it appears to be free. And what I also like to say, because I'm a student of economics as well, there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? So even in chess, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So if you see something is free, think twice before you're taking it. It may be poison. So this pawn on B2, by the way, the B2 pawn and the G2 pawn, same thing with black, the B7 and the G7 pawn, most often are the poison pawns for some reason. That's usually the pawn. So in this case, the B2 pawn was taken. Now, when I look at this queen over here, I see a queen that's that's way out of its territory, and also it's in high danger of being trapped, right? Everybody can see that. So that's, I mean, I don't see the exact continuation just yet, but that's the initial perspective that I'm thinking about. And so I'm thinking, is there a way that we can lock this queen in and then attack it, right? So, well, what do you think?
So you've answered it for us, right? You back up the bishop one to lock the queen in.
Yeah, so
Bishop
yeah, so you can physically trap the queen and then try to
But-
yeah,
um,
go ahead.
But after bishop b3, what about knight c3?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking at. Knight c3, and then maybe, let's say, maybe queen up, d2, maybe to take the knight with check, queen takes, and then after that, queen c3, and looks like the queen escapes, maybe along the dark squares, and then escapes back, right? So it might not be bishop b3. So what else can we look at?
Queen d5.
Queen d5 here. Okay. All right, so now we're attacking the knight. All right, interesting. Yeah, maybe the knight could even come back again here, forking
Knight
the
c
knight c3, forking the knight and the queen. If the knight takes, queen takes, and now the bishop here is under attack, right?
How about queen d3 to start setting the trap?
All right, so queen d3. Yeah, so now that is definitely threatening rook. Yeah, either rook f to b1, or even rook a to b1 will also be trapping it.
Well, yeah, never mind.
So let's see here. Queen to d3. Let's see, is there anything? Yeah, so if the knight drops back, we can just take, and then rook over, and that traps the queen, right? Or if queen d3, and then we have, what if he goes bishop f5, threatening some kind of discovery here? Does that do anything? I don't think so. Right? I don't think that does anything. Yeah, I think queen d3. So yeah, queen d3. So this is another important idea, is that every move in chess, if you can make your move multi-purpose, accomplish multiple functions or goals, that is the optimal, right? So queen d3 does two things. It blocks off c3 again, and it also controls a3 a little bit more, and it attacks the knight, right? So basically what we're doing is we're removing the escape squares of the queen and attacking. So, you can say removing the escape squares with tempo, right? So this is a multi-purpose move. This is a very good move. So yeah, I'm leaning towards queen d3 as well. Yeah, does that make sense to everybody? What do you think? Yeah,
Yeah, sounds better.
looks good, right? All right, so let's say queen d3. Oh, not the right move. All right, well, it looks good to me, actually. It looks good to me. I don't see a way that black can get out of that.
Oh, I know. E takes f4.
E takes f4. Wait,
That'd
say
be
again.
possible.
You mean f takes, you mean over here?
No,
Right,
after queen d3, E takes f4.
Ah,
possibly.
oh, you mean escaping? Right. Well, I mean, maybe not though, because maybe the bishop takes, and then how is the queen going to escape? Actually, maybe no. Maybe he has knight e5, and now we're forking queen and bishop. So maybe, yeah, it gets complicated. But this knight, yeah, okay, all right, yeah. Anybody else? Any other ideas?
Now, if you did move your queen there, he could still bail out. He still has time to bail out, but he'd lose his knight, right?
Well, where can he bail out? You mean after queen d3?
Yeah.
So
Well, let's see. I guess.
You
Yeah, I
can't.
guess he's not got. I guess he'd have to back out to maybe B4.
B4 here?
Yeah.
No. So I mean, the other option I'm looking at is moving the rook to B1, attacking the queen outright, forcing queen takes A3, and then let's see, and then maybe something like rook. Yeah, see, it seems like the queen escapes though, right? Seems like the queen escapes. What do you guys think? Any other ideas? You could try bishop b3, but I don't think that's the answer. Nope, see, not bishop b3 either. Oh, I think I see it. That's funny. Yeah, I think I see it. All right. You guys want a hint?
Yes.
Yes.
I think this is a one move queen trap. In one move. Which is pretty amazing.
Bishop A2.
No. Bishop and queen can just escape like that.
Or take the pawn.
Take the pawn, true, but then you got a discovery there. Oh yeah, no. Actually, no, it doesn't work because he's got queen takes here, check. So what else? One move queen trap. Wow. So you would think that would be easy to find, right?
Are you talking like queen traps and attack, or just like
the queen is trapped
boxing the queen?
In one move, the queen is trapped.
How about A2?
With what?
With the rook.
Right, rook to A2. Look at that. Isn't that so obvious? But yeah, yet not so obvious. So yeah, pretty amazingly, all these squares are controlled, right? Very amazingly. And maybe his response, his best response would probably be knight C3, threatening knight and queen, and then probably I think the best thing would just to be win the knight. So trade of queens, and then white is up. No, actually he's up. No, yeah, he's up one minor piece, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that makes the most sense. All right, so let's see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, knight C3 seems like the best move, right? All right. Whew. All right, interesting. Wow, one move queen trap. And it eluded us all. All right, so let's go on. Let's look at this is known as Kramnik's Immortal game. Anybody studied this one? Kramnik's Immortal game. This is between Kasparov versus Kramnik in Dos Hermanos from 1996. So real quick, let me just give you guys some yeah. So Dos Hermanos, 1996. All right. So let's look at this game. All right. So we have so Kramnik, Kasparov is white, Kramnik's black. So that's why we're looking at it from Kramnik's perspective. All right. So we have D4, D5, C4. So Queen's Gambit. So this would be the Slav, I believe, right? Am I correct in that? The Slav?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if black chooses E6, is that the semi-Slav? Is that what that's called?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. All right. So C6, knight C3, knight F6. Okay. General opening. Okay. So yeah, it looks a little weird, boxing in this bishop. I guess maybe the idea is maybe pushing C4 or maybe B6 and putting the bishop on the diagonal and trying to open up the diagonal that way, perhaps. But it kind of looks a little bit strange to me to put that. I mean, it feels like I would want to go bishop f4 or bishop f5, get the bishop out of the pawn chain before you lock it in. But at the same time, I'm not a world-class grandmaster, so maybe they have the reasons. All right, so e6, e3, knight b d7. Again, this bishop looks very sorry, right? Very unhappy in here. Bishop d3, d takes, bishop takes. All right, so I guess here's the idea. So b5, and then perhaps perhaps a6, bishop b7, followed by c5, and now the long diagonal is open for the bishop, so not so bad. All right, so b5, bishop d3, bishop b7, castle, a6. Good. So now, yeah, I think this is considered a pretty good position for black. The bishop's about to be opened up. c5, there you go. So nice long diagonal for the bishop. All right, d5, c4. All right. Bishop c2, queen c7. Interesting. So he really does not want to open up this e file. I guess because the rook check is coming, and along with this d pawn, may cause some problems for black. So yeah, he's willing to get an isolated pawn here if need be. Queen c7, knight d4, knight c5. All right, so protecting e6 a little bit more. Okay, b4. All right, trying to get some counterplay on the queen side. C takes, a takes. Okay, b4, knight a4. Okay, losing a pawn. Okay, but he gets it back there. All right, so now he's giving up. So it's basically even pawn trade. But black is hurrying to castle, so white temporarily has the advantage of development and king safety. So black has got to hurry, get his king out of the center. Okay, f3. King's getting a little bit shaky. All right, so f3. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think black played here? So after f3, what is black to move? What do you think he played?
He could do a sort of a Greek gift sort of idea.
So take on h7 now?
Or h2.
I mean, sorry, h2. Yeah, right. Take h2 now, you mean?
Yeah, I mean it looks like it could potentially.
The bishop takes, king takes, and then I assume queen h5, king comes back, and then so where's the follow-up? Maybe knight g3 maybe?
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's not that convincing. Because
What about
yeah, I got
what about instead of all of that, could we go queen h5 right away?
yeah, queen h5 right away. Yeah, that's interesting because now we're trying to invade with the queen on h2, right? So we're offering the knight as bait, and this is very interesting because this king is very vulnerable in the center. Black does not have a safe king, and yet he's going for an all-out attack on the white king that is safe. It's kind of interesting. So yeah, he plays queen h5. Yeah, very bold move. So white does not take the knight. He blocks and goes g3. So let's examine a little bit. What happens if you would take the knight? So what do you think? All right, so give me a follow-up. What do you think black could play here?
Bishop takes the pawn on h2, check.
Okay, so you want to take it with the bishop? Okay, take. So yeah, what would be the best place? Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that. All right, so how would you follow up now?
I would castle And that would check the queen again.
Yeah, I
mean,
like that
the
idea. Yeah. Get your king to safety with tempo, right? Very nice. And let's see, what can he do? Maybe you can just block this way. Kind of looks safe for white, you know. maybe you
So
bring
the-
the other rook into the attack, something like that. Right? Anybody? What were you gonna say? Ted, right?
Yeah, the queen can safely move up to h4 and check.
True, you can do that. True. I mean,
And
I would.
it's-
I think it's a great idea to always,
well-
when you have a chance, bring as many of your pieces into the attack as possible, right? Just makes your job easier for attacking. So rook a to d8 looks like a good move to me. But okay.
What about taking that pawn?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
the
can also,
bishop, yeah.
yeah, you can
Bishop.
also take the pawn. Yeah, now this knight is coming under heavy pressure, definitely. And yeah, the king is not feeling too safe. So, all right. So let's go back. All right.
What if
All
the
right.
queen takes the pawn on h2?
Yeah, I was looking at queen takes also. Yeah, what happens if queen takes? Now we have, okay, king there. All right. So
Well, now you can castle again.
now you can castle again. That's true. Let's say he blocks this way. And now maybe taking the pawn again. And now you're really threatening bishop takes. That's actually a pretty powerful move, right? Because now this pawn is pinned, so it's not really protecting the knight. And then if the king moves to, you know, e1 or d2, we can just remove this pawn. And now black's position is kind of crumbling a little bit. Yeah. And actually, if he goes to e1, that wouldn't be such a good move, because then we have bishop g3 check, forcing him back onto the second rank, and then check, and that's pretty disastrous for white, right? So yeah, I think queen takes h2 would be a little bit stronger than bishop takes, because then we got the queen on the second rank. All right, so he didn't take, so he went g3, and now, all right, now what do you think white played here? Sorry, black. What did black play here?
I still like my colleague's suggestion of castling, because then the knight is safe, the black knight is safe. Oops, I beg your pardon. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay. So you on castling. All right. So then this knight is still on pre. So if he takes, what's the punishment? What do you think?
What?
So if he takes the, yeah, what do you think? Because I'll tell you that's what black played. He did castle. So he castled, and then he sacrificed this knight, which now Kasparov did take the knight. Okay, so now what do you think black played here? So now
Queen
he's
h3.
Queen h3. Yeah, I think so. So now he's trying to get access to the light squares, and once this pawn is off the board, if you notice, black is the only one with the light squared bishop, and once this light square diagonal is open, that's going to be pretty powerful, right? There's not much you can do there to defend his king. All right, so yeah, Queen h3. Although the computer doesn't seem to like Queen h3, kind of interesting. All right, so yeah, computer says Queen e5 is best. All right. So okay, so then we have so white plays knight f3, which computer gives us a double question mark blunder. Wow. All right, so why does the computer give that as a double question mark blunder? What can black play here? What do you think?
It's not dramatic, but the bishop can take the pawn at
G3?
e4.
Oh, e4. Well,
Yeah.
okay, you can do that. That's true. I mean, this bishop is hanging as well. So let's see, takes, and then what would you take? Would you take with the bishop? Or would you take with the rook?
You couldn't take with the rook safely, so you'd have to take with the bishop. It's not looking good.
All right, so if you take with the bishop, now you're threatening mate here.
But rook takes f3.
Yeah, rook can take f3, or you can just come up, rook f2 or even rook a2, defend his second rank. Yeah. So
Can you
yeah,
go-
I don't know if that's
Can you
worth it.
go back and play the rook takes the knight?
Okay, so let's see that. So queen takes, rook takes. Yeah,
Doesn't work
so
either.
maybe here, yeah, you can take, and then rook a2, and then he's pretty safe. White appears pretty safe. Now he's just going to develop, and then he has an extra knight, and probably will win. So yeah, so yeah, I don't know if we should give up this bishop as well. This bishop seems very important to me. So yeah, so what all right, any other ideas? So we had bishop takes e4. Any other ideas?
Well, what if the black bishop takes it g3?
Yeah, that looks interesting, right? So removing the pawn cover seems like a good idea, and bring the queen a little bit closer to the knight, and also, doing this with tempo, because it ends up to be with check, and then he can still take this pawn and exercise a lot of pressure on this knight, right? So that's what he did. So bishop takes g3. So Kasparov did not take this bishop. So he saw. So let's see, why didn't he take the bishop? So what happens? Takes, king to h1, and I assume bishop takes e4. Now there's nothing that you can do to save this knight, right? We have 3 pieces coming down, 2 pieces defending, and this king has no squares to go. That's pretty devastating, right? And this knight is just too far away to do anything. The bishop can't help at all either. So pretty devastating there. Okay, so he didn't take that bishop. He went knight c5. All right, knight c5, trying to bring his extra piece into the play, also protecting his pawn and attacking the b7 bishop, which is very important bishop, by the way. We want to keep that on the board. All right, so what do you think black played in this position?
Black to move.
Yeah, so knight c5 was the last move. What do you guys think?
Perhaps
Bishop
black-
takes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Bishop takes h2.
Bishop takes h2. Okay, so bishop takes h2, knight takes, and now how do you follow up?
Queen g3.
Queen g3. Okay, what else?
Bishop, or never mind.
Yeah. In this position, white is just holding everything together, right? The pawn is protected by the knight, and yeah, there's really no more checks really that we can do. Last thing you can do is take the rook, queen takes, and then yeah, and then white is just up 2 minor pieces. So all right, let's go back. All right, so what else do you think black did here? Ted, you had an idea?
I was going to say the same thing that was just said.
Okay.
The black bishop
Yeah.
taking.
Now, how about if you take the knight with the rook?
So why would you want to do that?
So you'd be threatening mate.
Exactly. Very good. Yeah. So this knight is the only thing that's preventing mate on h7, h2, right? So so very nice move. Yeah, rook takes f3. So that's what was played. Rook takes f3. Now he does have rook takes because he's creating an escape square on f1, and then we have queen takes h2, king f1. Okay, so now what do you think? What do you think black played here?
Did he play queen h1 check?
No, he didn't play queen h1 because now not only is our rook under attack, but now queen tray is threatened, and then the king might, might find refuge on b1,
Well,
perhaps.
Well, after king e2, could you go queen g2?
Let's see. Okay, so queen h1, king e2, queen g 2. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Taking here wouldn't be a good idea because of the rook check here, winning the queen. So probably, yeah, better move would probably be king e3.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then,
I missed that.
yeah, and then how do you continue? So it doesn't look like it was a good continuation. Yeah, so he didn't play queen h2 because the queen and the bishop are doing a good job of restricting the king. So now the king has no square. So the king is completely restricted. So keep the king on the first rank here. This is probably a good idea. All right, anything else?
What about rook to e8?
Rook to e8. Okay, so don't forget. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, rook e8. Yeah, because I'm looking at. So remember, this bishop is under attack, right? But I don't think it works.
No, it doesn't. All right.
Yeah.
But if you played rook,
Well, let's see. Let's
Well-
see. If rook e8, knight takes. Then we have queen h1 check, king king e2, and then we have rook takes check. Actually, let's play this out. Let's play this out. So here takes no. Then we have check. Then we have check. And then yeah, he can block. Right, he can block with the bishop. So it doesn't seem to work. Yeah. So now the queen is under attack, and the king is kind of finding shelter with his pieces. Yeah. So yeah. So now in this position, white is ahead of rook and a knight. So if white can successfully avoid mate, then he's just going to be winning. All right. So let's go back. So what else? What else in this position? What else do you think black played here?
I don't know if this was discussed, but how is rook f8?
Rook f8. Okay, so then you have takes with check, check.
then rook
Oh,
takes,
it does
rook king
nothing.
takes, rook
Yeah,
queen comes down to d8.
Yeah. Then it's just yeah. Now black's king is under attack.
Yeah.
Right. All right. What else? You guys want
Play
to
queen to h3 check.
queen h3 check? Let's see. Maybe the king would want to escape this way again. Probably. Yeah. And then how would you follow up? Yeah. So if you go queen g2, again, he can escape onto e3. He's pretty safe there. All right, so let's go back. All right, so you guys want a hint as to black's next move? So remember, this king is completely immobile, right? So we have successfully removed the entire second rank and the e square. and G1, right? So just keep in mind, if we can, how can we attack this king yet again here, not in one move, but how can we try to attack this king yet again on F1?
Two moves. You have to move bishop to C6 and then
Right,
bishop
right,
to
yeah.
E5.
So this bishop, you know, just go bishop C6, bishop B5. That's going to be pretty strong, pretty devastating, right? So yeah, pretty straightforward move. Bishop C6. So now here, it seems Kasparov made a pretty big mistake. Bishop G5. So what do you think? What do you think would be the better move if his goal is bishop B5 check? So what do you think would be a better move than that?
He could bring his queen down. And,
To where?
well, if he brought it down to D3.
Okay, so queen D3. Does that work? What do you guys think?
No, because then black brings the bishop to B2 and it pins the queen to the king.
Yeah.
No, this would actually be a mistake. Anybody can tell me why?
You could just take it, couldn't you?
You take the
Or-
bishop. Yeah. Everybody see why that's a mistake? Takes.
Oh yeah, the pawn
takes.
can't take because then the rook
Mate.
takes the rook. All right.
Mate. Yeah. So that is an interesting move. Queen, queen D3 or queen E2 is an interesting move. Yeah, and of course queen E2 doesn't work. Why?
Well, you just end up trading queens, I guess.
No, queen H1 checkmate.
Queen H1 is mate, yeah. Mate in one. So you got to be careful with that. Make sure your king has an escape square, right? So yeah, queen D3 is an interesting idea. Also, that's also preparing maybe a possibility for checking the king on C4. That's a possibility. But the computer also suggests rook A5, so just trading the rook for the bishop that way, removing the piece, because this bishop is pretty strong. So okay, so let's go back. So he played bishop C6. He played bishop G5, double question mark. Then bishop B5, knight D3. Okay, what do you think? What do you think Black did now? So I guess the idea behind bishop G5. What do you think was the idea behind bishop G5? There's a reason he did that.
Well, if the queen checks the king on the back row, this way the queen will be protected by the rook.
All right, that's true. Yeah, but there's another reason though he did that. Anybody can tell me another reason? So for example, in this position, right, if this bishop on G5 was not there, what would be a good move for Black? Let's say this bishop's not here. Let's say the bishop's back here.
Oh, good move for black would have been rook to D8.
Exactly. What do we do with pin pieces, right? Put pressure on the pin piece.
Right.
Very important, right? Rook D8, increasing pressure here would be a very nice move as well. So and then after queen H1 check, king E2, queen G2 check, king E3, maybe you can take on D3, win the queen, right? That'd be a pretty nice little combination. So bishop G5 removes the D8 square from the rook. All right. So here, Black to move. What do you think Black played here? How did he continue his attack? What do you think?
Can you play rook to E8?
Yes, he played rook to E8. Yes. So look, the king wants to escape onto E2, right? So now the rook on E8 is trying to capture the pawn, remove E2, and then threaten a mate on H1, right? So yeah, very good line of thinking there. All right, so white plays rook a2, and all right, so that is a mistake. Actually, there's a mate in 4 here. Interestingly enough, that I think Kramnik missed. Mate in 4. All right, so rook a2. All right, so all right, so what do you think? What black did next?
Did black go queen takes a2?
Yeah, so he's giving away the rook, maybe to remove the bishop and try to alleviate some pressure. But black did not. He did not take this rook though. So yeah, what
He
else?
can play, oh, bishop takes knight check.
Bishop takes knight check. True, you can. All right. So now what?
Takes- Ah. Oh.
Actually, I'll show you the forced the checkmate sequence that was
Yeah,
seen that was seen here. Bishop takes d3, rook takes, and now we have queen h1 check, king e2,
right.
queen g2, king e3, and now rook takes. So if the rook took, the e4 pawn is not protected. So yeah, forced checkmate in 4 moves. That's pretty nice. So for that reason, taking with the queen is probably the best. And now, yeah, queen h1, king e2, queen g2, and now I guess he just loses this rook and then the bishop. Yeah, I don't know if there's compensation. Now white has a bishop ahead. So yeah. All right, so let's see what happened in the game. So queen h1 check was played. Computer gives that as a double question mark, missing this. But actually, you know what? I'm just curious about something. I assume that the computer wants the computer wants that. I wonder why. So what happens if we take here? Ooh. Ah, very interesting. Checkmate in 2 moves. That oh my goodness. Wow, so this is a forced mate, and this is a forced mate. That's true. Anybody can see the forced mate? You see it, Kian? What do you see?
Queen, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it.
Queen h1.
Yeah, and the king goes to the one square it has. And then I think e1, queen e1 will win.
Yeah, queen e1. That's nice. Check. Yeah. And come on. My internet connection. All right. And now mate on e1. Yeah. I believe this is called the swallow's tail mate. Anybody can confirm that? I'm pretty sure this is called the swallow's tail mate because it resembles like a little bird. All right. Let's go back. All right, so that's the forced mate. So queen h1 check. So you missed that. King e2. Rook takes e4. King d2. Queen g2 check. King c1. Okay. Queen takes. Rook takes. All right. So let's see. How would you continue here? Black to move. How would you continue the attack?
I would go something like, I would go rook to e2.
Rook to e2. Interesting. All right. Let's say he goes. Let's say he goes here, blocking the rook and the queen connection. Right.
I would go queen a1 check.
Queen a1 check. King c2.
Queen c3 check.
Ah, very good, very good. Queen c3 check. Yeah, the king is the bishop is pinned. Very good. Yeah, very nice. And then this knight falls. All right, that's good. That's good. That's good. Let's see. Is there anything else?
Can you have go, if you went queen to A3 check right off the bat there. Oh, you can block it with the knight?
Well,
No, that won't
no.
work.
Here it's white to move. After rook E2, it's white to move. So the question is,
Oh, it's white move.
yeah. So the question is, what black is threatening mate on A1 with the queen. So how do we stop that? It looks okay. So then it looks like the only way is you got to sacrifice the queen for the rook. It looks like it. Let me just see. Okay, that's interesting. Bishop F3 is a nice one, or F6, right? Pawn is pinned and controlling A1. That's interesting. All right, very good find, Stockfish 14. All right, so yeah, so in this position, he played Queen A1 check. Then you have King C2. All right, so how do you continue? Continue the attack. Black to move.
Queen C3.
Queen C3 check. King B1. And now, what would you do?
I was looking at Rook D4.
Yeah, Rook D4. Very nice, very nice. Rook D4 and black resigns. Kasparov resigns here. Wow. So immense pressure on D3. Pinned to the queen, also pinned to the unprotected rook as well. And along with the bishop, this is going to be devastating. He could try something like this. Bishop F6 looks interesting, trying to pin the rook to the queen. So how do you think black would continue if he did that? What do you think?
I think as long as you finish with like a king check, right? Like as long as, like for example, you do rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes, check. You're going to win the other bishop on.
So you're saying rook takes here, and then taking the rook. Ah, okay, yeah, check. Ah, right, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. And then this bishop just falls. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, or if he takes the queen, then you take with check. Come back. That looks drawish actually now. Right? Uh-oh. Don't want that. So yeah, so I think, yeah, I don't think rook takes. Let me just see what the computer says here. Ooh, the computer gives, ooh, so take this first. Interesting. Get the rook out of the way. Check, and now, ooh, interesting. Check here. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's go back. All right. So yeah. So the computer. I think, yeah, and I thought of this as well. Bishop takes D3 looks like the strongest. Here. Let's go back. Yeah. Bishop takes D3 because it's a check, right? Now we have takes, and then so we might just end up being a minor piece. Yeah.
Up the exchange.
Up the exchange, yeah. And then this pawn's gonna might fall. Yeah, and then just two outside pass pawns and decides the game very easily. So yeah, simplify. Yeah, that's the other thing. When you're ahead, I mean, black was not looking to simplify. He was looking for an all-out assault on the king. But that's also another good strategy. When you're ahead in material, don't look for complications. Just simplify, and your advantage will be much easier, right? Whereas when you give your opponent too much counterplay, there's more likely a chance that they will fight back more successfully, or you will make a mistake. So, yeah. All right. So that is Kramnik's Immortal game. What do you guys think? Interesting?
Very interesting.
Amazing. Yeah. It- yeah, go ahead. Any comments? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
It's kind of
I-
it's kind of interesting how world champions make so many mistakes and blunders, huh? According to the computer. Huh?
Yeah, blundering a force maiden 4. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Samuel?
I think that I've seen a number of Immortal games that just end up in a winning endgame for one side.
Yeah.
That's crazy attack.
Yeah. I love seeing these. By the way, I know the World Championship is going on right now, and I was thinking about covering some of the games in during one of these classes or a couple of these classes. But at the same time, I'm thinking that so many people are following it that it might not be interesting to cover that. What do you guys think? Would you want to cover those, or are you guys already following people that are analyzing it, so it's not so interesting? What do you think? Any
I would appreciate you doing one.
you guys want to cover one?
Yeah, I'd be down.
I thought game 2 was interesting.
Game 2?
Yeah, game 2 is definitely the most interesting of the 3 so far.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't even look at game 3. So yeah, so if you guys have any games that you want me to cover, that you're interested in me analyzing during the class, definitely you can email me. I will email everyone this video, and so you have my email address. So if you want to send me anything that you want me to cover, just send it to me, and we'll try to look at it in the next class, or in a class soon. All right. So yeah, good seeing you all. Great seeing new faces here. Glad to see that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that and learned something. I will email you the video when it's available. And yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful night.
Thank
Right.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Danilo.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.